Hello, and welcome to our Eloqua office hours, where we discuss everything Eloqua and marketing automation each month. As a quick note, today's session is being recorded. You'll receive a link to the replay via email tomorrow. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A feature so we can keep everything organized. At the end of today's presentation, we have two special offers to share with you, so stick around, you won't want to miss them. I'm Sebastian Martinez, Account Director at Forza Marketing, and I'll be your host today. Our presenter is Richard Holder, Director of Marketing at Forza Marketing. And with that introduction, let me turn the time over to Richard.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's office hours. It's good to see some familiar names of people we've seen in the past, so thank you for joining us. In the past few office hours, we've mentioned some of our cloud apps, and we've had many attendees ask for more details on how they work and how we use them. So that's exactly what we're going to do here today. If you visited the CX community lately, there were some amazing questions highlighting creative ways users are trying to do more with Eloqua. And that's typical of the innovative thinking that I've experienced over the 15 plus years I've been using Eloqua. At Forethought Marketing, we've created over 100 cloud apps to solve technical and data challenges or open up new opportunities within Eloqua. Last month alone, we processed over 7 billion records for Eloqua customers. A quick note, for most of the use cases today that we're going to talk about, there may be other solutions that don't require using cloud apps. However, as you'll see, cloud apps often speed up the process of building new solutions and make using the campaign or program canvas much easier. I plan to walk through several use cases and provide samples how our cloud apps will help you do more with Eloqua. Back in January, this question was asked about accessing program entry and exit history for contacts in the community. And I thought it was a great question because I didn't actually know this. And so I tested it myself and I said, yeah, that's true. If I really wanted to see that, it wasn't available. So I started thinking about how we might be able to solve it. So the challenge is that program history only shows 3 months of data. The contact history contains 25 months of data, but you can only look at one contact at a time, which if you're looking to get the whole set of data, that's not really helpful. And there's no API option to retrieve the data separately. So you have to collect the information as you process or as contacts enter the program. So we have a solution for that, which is our Contact to CO Updater Cloud app, which allows you to embed a step in your program that updates or creates a custom object record on the fly, and you can specify the information that's stored on that custom object. So let me show you. Let me show you that. Actually, it runs in the program canvas. Sorry, got a slow transition here. And I'd also, and this is the part that I've also noticed in the past, if you've used blind form submits to submit data like this, it's going to create an activity record on the contact, which may interfere with other things you are doing, like using tracking of form submissions, determine whether the contact is active, and so forth. All right, so let's look at a sample program. And here I've got a sample program with a listener and a segment, and you could use either or both. I've got 9 contacts in there, and then the actual custom object on here. Of course, if this was an actual program or I was doing a set of actions, there would be more steps here, but this is very basic. If we look at the actual configuration of the Contact to CO Updater, you can see how you can select you will select the custom object that was previously shown on the other page when you created your program. And then you can do the process of field mapping. And within the app, you can set a static value, a text string, apply a GUID or a date timestamp, and it will be, or a contact field value, and you can store those on the contact. And if I show it scrolling down just a little bit, you can see here where I'm storing three values. The unique ID, I'm using a GUID, and then I'm storing the program history demo, which is the name of the program. You can put anything here, and then I'm storing the email address from the program itself. And this is what the test data looks like after the program has run. So I'm looking at those 9 contacts afterwards. And here we have the actual record that was stored here. So that's a quick demo of the contact to CO updater. You can also use this same approach for fields that are frequently updated, but you want to preserve a history of them. For example, if you have a field like we do for lead source most recent, you want to keep a history of that for record keeping purposes. And especially if it's overwritten, if you have an activity for a particular field that's maybe getting multiple updates in rapid succession because of other activities, putting this step as a cloud app on your program can make that much easier to use. Before I continue, let's see if we have any questions about our first cloud app.
As a reminder, please use the Q&A option in Zoom to ask questions. And nope, there are no questions at this time.
Fantastic. Thank you. I'll continue. The next example is helping users avoid going into what I call Eloqua's dungeon level. Yes, that's right. Data tools and update rules. So I think we can all relate to dropping an update rule action step on the canvas, only to remember that you either haven't created the rule or you don't have the name of the existing rule handy, and so you're going to have to look that up. But regardless, if you don't have it created, you're going to have to go create it or search for it. And searching under here on this dialog is pretty simple, but if you need to create it, you're going to have to exit. I won't ask for a raise of hands of how many people have had that experience, but I think we've all been there. So let's, just for the novelty, let's start our trek down. Okay, that's enough for today. But what if I told you there was an easier way? Of course, I'm going to show you an easier way, and that is using a cloud app. So the challenge we have is you have to create the rules separately from the Canvas step. There's only a single update you can do per step. And while there are some additional things you can do within that update step, I mean, on all practical purposes, you want to do a single outcome out of that. There are multiple steps if you want to do additional filtering so that you only run the records through that you want. For us, the solution is the enhanced update rules cloud app. It allows you to set a value, static value, append to an existing static value, or apply a date stamp. And with that, let's take a look at a demo, okay? So here is the actual canvas for today's office hours. You can see here, I've put in this canvas step after we got the registration action, done a little webhook action to send some data over to a system we use to track new leads and add them to a shared list. And now I want to set some data on the contact. So in this example here, I'm going to make 2 updates. I'm first going to set the field lead source most recent to today's event. So office hours with our date format. And then I'm going to apply a date stamp to the last form submit field on the contact. So that's always updated. But wait, there's more. If you noticed at the top, there was that little checkbox. If you want to do additional filtering, you can filter by contacts that are both included or excluded within a particular segment. So you can further refine how this is going to process data. And you can even optionally add the user to a shared list. Now, as a side note, our cloud apps were developed after a discussion with an Eloqua customer about a business challenge or an opportunity they were facing, and they wanted to see how we could help them. If you find yourself in a similar situation and are looking for ideas or think that an app could help you do something, solve a new problem, or take advantage of an opportunity, we would love to have a conversation with you. Okay, let's continue. So here is another challenge that was put into the Eloqua community is how do I pass data from one custom object to another custom object? We see this all the time. You have an idea for something, you know you have data, but they're sitting in different custom objects because that's just how your systems work. So how do you pass that from one CO to another? The options you have today are to export and import the data or build your own custom app using the API, which is exactly what we've done. So you don't have to build it. We actually have two different solutions that are used for different use cases where you can either push or pull data from custom objects and store that information. And of course, the advantages of this is that it can be fully automated versus a manual, and it doesn't require using contact fields if you want to pass the data back and forth, which other solutions might require. So let's take a look at these apps and how they're configured. So the first one is the CO to CO lookup, which looks for a value matching a field from a target CO and stores it in the data for the source CO. So we're processing the source CO and looking for data in the target. And in this particular one, we're looking for the test CO, of course, and we're looking for a zip code, and we're looking for a zip code ID in the other one. And then if we get a match, we're going to bring back a phone and a sales rep. You can even put a default answer in the field. So if there is no matching value, you can set the field to no phone or no rep. So there are additional options available with this, but I won't go through all of those today. So this is a one solution you can use to look up data. We see this all the time for something like I've shown here. It's also used for things like you have a custom object that has line items on an order, it has the descriptions for each line item and the SKU, but there's additional data connected to the SKU that are needed in order to process the campaign effectively within your Eloqua system. And so you need to pull that data in, and this is a perfect solution for that because it can look that data which is managed and make that connection. And it can enrich that original record with the target data. We also offer an extended version that is for multiple matches. So this, instead of doing a single criteria, you can do one or up to three different criteria. So if you need to, as you see here, there's a state and a product criteria here, and both of those have to match before it will do the update. And so this is used when you need multiple filtering criteria. And let's move on. The other option we have is called the CO to CO updater. And this is where we take data from the source CO and push it to the target. And so we're going to use a mapped field, uh, mapped contact field, um, a source CO field, or a static value to match the target CO. You can see how we're going to do that. And then we do the field mapping here. We say what value we want to take from the source and push it to the target here. In this case, we're going to do some country text or something like that. Before I continue, let me again check to see if we have any questions.
And as a reminder, if there are any questions, please use the Q&A option on your screen.
Okay.
No questions.
All right, let's continue. The last use case that I'm going to share today, and hopefully you guys will be typing in some questions if you have any, or if there are even other things you've considered using a cloud app that we could discuss today, we would be happy to do that. So here's the use case. Marketing creates an amazing campaign, and marketing ops executes flawlessly. But after launch, you get a call from a sales leader, and they report that some of their reps, and I'm using air quotes around the some, were unaware of the campaign and were surprised when they started getting calls from their customers about the contents of that message. And so, of course, they wanted to make sure that they were kept in the loop all the time. The email-related contact cloud app is an excellent solution for this use case. It allows you to automatically include reps if their email is stored in a field on the contact record, and then that rep will be included in the campaign. I do need to share an important limitation here. This is not a true carbon copy solution. When Eloqua prepares the email, because the rep is just a record or a field out of a contact field, it's not really connected to an actual account. So it cannot merge actual customer data. However, if you're having this challenge within your team and your sales team wants to be informed, you can let them know that if they receive customer-facing type of communication, not only will you let them know in advance through normal channels, but you can let them know that they will automatically be included in the campaign, so they'll receive those. And that's another reminder of the exact information that's been sent out to their customers. So this is what it looks like. So we have our segment members. We've got our step here, and step 200. This is one where you're actually going to specify the field that contains the rep's email address, and then it's automatically going to add them to the feeder you see on step 400 here, which is the actual email-related contact import field, and then it's going to flow that same contact down through the send email step. This solution can also be applied at the group level. So if you're building a program to subscribe contacts to groups, you can include your sales reps in this because they are members of, and make them members of the group. And then if that's how your segmentation works, then they can be included automatically. And we have had a number of clients use this to do that. Okay, with that, that concludes my presentation today. A reminder to stay tuned to hear about the special offers. Let me hand it back to Sebastian for our final Q&A. Looks like we've lost Sebastian. So we've lost his microphone, so I apologize for that. Let me go into the Q&A and see if I can find the questions. Just give me a moment.
I'm so
Very
sorry, I
quick.
lost power for a moment.
That's all right. We just got to the final
I'm
Q&A.
back. Okay, should I go with the QA questions, or are you already covering that?
Yes. Yes. No, I just barely got there, so you can go ahead. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect timing then. Let's see. There are two questions actually. Let me cover the first one. It says, who should I contact to learn more about your cloud apps?
Well, that's a great question. I think you can contact your account director, of course. You can send an email to the information um, shown on the screen, as well as you can use the contact us on the website.
Okay, very good. And the second question here is, do you offer free trials or anything of that sort where I can test the apps before purchase?
Uh, Great question again. So that is actually yes. Most of our cloud apps, not all, but most of our cloud apps offer a 10-day free trial. So you can just go to our website, look for the cloud app that you are interested in, and then select the free trial option if it's displayed. And those free trials begin immediately. So you can just click it, start installing it. You'll receive instructions. You can start using it immediately to test your designs or your programs. And you can go forward. And then we will have a member of our team be in touch with you.
Okay, very good. Now, I'm going to pause briefly to see if there are any additional questions. Don't be shy. Feel free to ask or comment anything you want on the chat box. Okay, seems that's all the questions we have for today.